That's right.
It's probably a good thing you didn't know that. All right.
Might end up fighting.
Happy May 18th. Let's rock. All right. Anybody out there using the new site yet? We rolled this out at the real estate state of the industry. And I'm just so excited. Luke's done such a great job. Just for your information, I'm going to Georgia Weekly Stats. And when you come here, uh, there's these dashboards right in the middle. So I could simply click this little download arrow and it would make me a JPEG picture that I could post on social media, or I could put in the background of a video of me talking, or I could add to a weekly newsletter to my clients. I'm really excited about this because I think it is giving us more flexibility with real time data. You can get specific. So if you were an agent in Cobb County, you just click Cobb, and then these are Cobb County stats, or Fulton County stats, or DeKalb County stats. It's just a really cool, easy tool that I know Michael Hermance in Buckhead. I don't know if he's on this call, but he was putting these into buyer presentations and things like that. So big deal. I think you should absolutely check into the new stat site and start to familiarize yourself. All right. Fulton County, 613 active status changes in the last 7 weeks. We had a big week 2 weeks ago, an even bigger week 2 weeks before that. So we had 693, then we went down to 585, then 673, then 599, and then 613. So new listings are kind of bouncing around a little bit, but we're holding as the spring market tends to do, putting a lot of inventory on the market, guys. And 613 is a good number. We had 136 go under contract in the last 7 days. Fulton County, a little bit down over the previous 4 weeks. So I don't know if everybody took the week off or slowed down in your business. Let's see if the other counties hold the same trend. But we have 313 properties sitting in pending status, which is a big jump. So whether we had a slow week or not, we have a big pending week, which speaks to buyer demand. But we had a lower closing week with only 210 closed out in the last 7 days when we're coming off 281, 273, 319 the weeks prior. So not the best week for Fulton County, but it's not like it was a horrible week. It was just an off week. Is that fair? Let's check out the other counties. So DeKalb County, if I can click, um, 309 active status changes, which is a little more than the week before, but 309 is a pretty healthy number. Obviously, there was a big week in the middle of April. But if you just look comparatively, 309 is probably a healthy number for DeKalb County. We had 79 go under contract, and AI says that was a big wow drop week over week. So we had 94, 93, 108, 101. There was certainly a drop off we're seeing in Fulton County and DeKalb County over the last 7 days, but 178 pending is very strong. But they had a low closing week too. They were 184, 157, 174, 154, 184, and we dropped to 120 in the last 7 days. So kind of an off week for DeKalb County as well. And then if we jump out to Cobb County, 383 inventory coming on the market, healthy number, not as high as it was, but much higher than what we saw early part of the year. We had 114 go under contract, which is pretty strong for Cobb County. Take out the outlier week, 114 is pretty healthy comparatively. 192 pending right now. and 166 closed. So there was a big week over week drop there as well. So obviously, all three of our big counties had an off week for closings and an off week for under contract. Talk to me. Did y'all all take a vacation last week? What do you think? What do you see in the numbers, Rick?
I mean, it, obviously a subtle dip, and but closings and pendings look strong. So that would imply you didn't take last week off. If closings are slightly down, then it was 4 to 8 weeks ago that someone took a vacation,
That's
or
a
there
good
was a
point.
lull in the media that created a slowdown of sort.
Matt Pitts, what's your thoughts? Matt on here? He said he was going to be on there.
That's an
Where'd he go?
inadvertent shout out right
He
there.
dropped. All right, we'll move on. Um, Here's the thing. I think we're watching the numbers a little tighter right now. Couple things. There's an article on Housing Wire that says mortgage rates are at yearly highs, but housing demand is still positive. So when they say housing demand is still positive, I agree with that. We're seeing those pending numbers stay pretty high. We're still seeing good closing numbers, although we had an off week. But if we look, let's look monthly. So if I look at all counties and I go pending, you can see on this chart those pending numbers for March and April were much higher than we had seen over the previous 12 months. Uh, all categories. So even in condos, you're seeing more pendings than we saw the previous 12 months. Single family, we certainly are seeing more pendings than we saw. And then obviously the all property category is accumulation of both of those. And if I check in on month supply, condos are yellow, so they got up as high as 10 months of inventory at the beginning of the year. They're down to 6.3. Single families down to 4.5. If you uh, study the market, 6 months of inventory is a perfectly balanced market. So condos actually have kind of creeped down to being a little bit close to a balanced market. I'd still say it's a buyer's market, but the data says it's close to being a balanced market. Single family is still in a seller's market. Single family back at the beginning of the year was certainly in a buyer's market for a period of time. And then it came down in February and then it's held low in March and April. Um, so what do you think? How's some I can show you data all day long, but my question to you guys is y'all are out there in the field, y'all are out there with the conversations day to day. What are your buyers saying? What are your sellers saying? What is the experience you're having?
Hey Brett, so Ken, so my experiences with my listings is if you are in a, let's just say, less than desirable school district, then you're hurting in regards to selling. And sellers are experiencing a painful reality that the market is paying much less than what they want for their house or they expect. And if you're in a good school district, look, it's still very competitive in hyper locations. I mean, I've have a buyer, we competed, went over asking with an appraisal gap and all this stuff that we haven't seen since 2022 and 21. But again, those are in hot school districts that are highly desirable. So like that this was Peachtree Corners. But
Okay.
again, poor school districts, where I shouldn't say poor, but where they don't have a great score, they're suffering.
Yeah, I'd speculate there's a correlation, Ken, also with the average first-time home buyer and repeat buyer. The average age went from like 30 and change to 40, and I'm going to guess, and this is not guessing, this is probably reality, but if for families that have children 40 and up, schools become a bigger factor, and if that's the kind of the new norm for target purchasers, first time especially, that's a factor. Do you
It
have to
is.
pay for private schools, or is it built into the price of your home because of the district you live in?
And my education to families like that is I have families that have moved because they're planning to have children, which are very proactive, and other ones that are kind of running out of time. They need to make a decision. Is you're financially, it's smarter for you to pay more for a house, which is going to appreciate faster, than to blow 30, $40,000 out the window every month for private schools. I mean, every year. So
Yeah, it's certainly a subjective discussion, but as a
correct.
real estate professional, you need to be able to promote different perspectives or angles and things to factor into a purchase decision.
There you go.
Brett, it's Cheryl.
Yeah.
Um,
Cheryl.
so hey, yeah, so we've seen multiple offers all year long. This weekend was no different. And it's the listings have been all over the place. Decatur continues to be a pretty hot market. But even on the buy side as well, this weekend we had two different buyers, both went above list price. Now both homes showed immaculately well. So I think condition and how they're presented is huge. There's no room there if you want to even get close to your list price or go above.
Got it. Well, I think this statement, housing demand is still positive. Obviously, to Ken's point and Cheryl's comments, it feels that way depending on where the property is. Is that fair? But we're watching this tight because, there's really two break points in the mortgage rates. The data says when mortgage rates rise above 6.64, that does start to affect demand. And if they get over 7%, it certainly affects demand. And if you looked at the rates this morning, they popped at, or Friday at close, they popped at 6 and 6.5. So we just popped on that 6.64 kind of barrier, right? Are the rates going to stay there? They're going to go up? Who knows? But I do believe if they do were to climb over 7, it will affect demand. But I don't believe this 6.65 is affecting demand right at the moment. I actually think the people that are out there in the market are going to buy regardless right now. But it's something to keep your eye on because they have climbed and we are officially over that benchmark of 6.64 where Logan with Housing Wire says it starts to affect demand a little bit. And I don't think it's affecting our demand today. Got it? All right. Call me crazy, but I am beating this drum. And AI and the AI agency meaning is AI doing administrative tasks on your behalf? I have said two things. One is Claude Cowork is kind of raising itself to be the gold standard in the marketplace right now. The second thing I have said is you have four choices. You're either going to ignore AI, and at some point in the distant future, you will end up exiting stage left out of the industry because you will get surpassed. The second choice you have is you could hire somebody that will become the AI expert inside your world. The third choice you have is you're going to buy a technology tool that's already built that will help you with do these things. And obviously, if you played with any AI tool at this point in time, your credit card's already down. Like you're paying a monthly fee, or Claude certainly to use the Claude Cowork, there's an expense to that. But I think there's going to be tech solutions that are built specifically for real estate agents to do administrative functions on their behalf. We've already looked at some of those. And the fourth choice you have is to go build custom AI solutions for yourself. All are good choices today. You got to decide. And I'm beating this drum because I believe that the real estate agents of tomorrow are going to be all in on this. And I just want to throw a thought to you, which is maybe a little fear to get you to take action. But the consumer is wising up to this too. And I promise you, you're going to deal with a buyer or a seller in the future that's going to come at you with AI research or AI saying, hey, this is what I should do, or I did a whole statistical analysis on this property with AI. And if you can't measure up inside that conversation, it's going to put you at a little potential risk of that relationship because your consumer is going to be more advanced than you are if you're not careful. And I think that that's a bad thing for you in the future. So maybe that's the fear I need to throw at the conversation to get you to take action. But I do believe the real estate industry is moving heavy into this. And Claude Cowork is probably the first phase that I would to be telling real estate agents to play with, in the sense that you should be connecting Claude Cowork to your email, your calendar, your task managers, and things like that, so that every day Claude's going to say, "Hey, here's what needs your attention today. Here's what deadlines or deliverables are due. Here's how you should prioritize your day." So, for instance, he's calling it his chief of staff. You could call it your EA or whatever. Um, he's saying this chief of staff goes in and pulls today's calendar from Google Calendar, checks his Gmail for important emails, surfaces priorities and tasks, note a revenue pulse, meaning give me my economics, and then compose a briefing. And he's getting a briefing every day from his AI agent that says, here's the time block for the day. Here's what you need to do. Here's all the emails that need your attention. And it's starting to organize him the way a great real estate assistant would organize you. Um, I don't know. What are your thoughts? I see Jeffrey on here. I see Matt on
Hey,
here. I see Rick on here. Anybody, what are your thoughts?
I will tell you, Brett, the great thing about Claude Cowork is you can ease your way into it. I
Yeah.
found with a lot of these AI pieces, it's either all or nothing. And Claude, you can connect slowly if you just want to do your calendar and have it help you maximize your efficiency and productivity. And then add the connector on the Gmail, and then add the connector on this. That's why I'm a big fan of it for agents.
Yeah. I mean, Jeffrey, I've been challenging all our offices. This isn't a class. Somebody stands in front of the room and teaches. This is a mastermind.
Yeah.
I think agents need to get together in groups in a training room and go, hey, this is what I'm doing, or help me do this, or how do I connect this? Or I really
Yep.
think every office needs to be having AI masterminds going on monthly.
And Brett, I think commit to a platform. I think it's going to be like we're going to have, just like we have Hulu, Netflix, HBO Max. I mean, you're going to have all of the different services for different needs. But I think we need to commit to moving forward with one, at least for this season, and use the others as resources when needed.
Yep. Perfect. All
And
right.
they're all worth paying for. Just saying. I pay for Hulu. I pay for Netflix. I pay for HBO Max. I pay for ChatGPT. I pay for Claude. It's just the function of the function of business right now.
It needs to be a budget item for
Yes.
agents in the future, right?
Yep.
All right.
And you did, Brett, you made one valid point that I want to make sure landed, and that your clients are using it. And I saw some comments about it as well. Denise made a comment about a buyer doing some vetting inspections and purchase decisions, they're going to do that. You better be on top of your game and make that part of your value proposition in your conversation on the front end. You don't want it to get weird if your clients do some recon and have a disagreeable position, or that position is different than yours. It needs to be a very comfortable, bring that to me, let's talk through it. I also use AI because that's what smart people do if it's outside my core genius.
Love it. All right.
I saw, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I saw a listing presentation recently where the listing agent broke down, these are the different functions I use AI for in my business. So the client also sees the value in partnering with us as agents of here's how we're using AI at the highest level while marketing your house, but we're not dumping our entire business and our entire relationship into an AI experience for the client. There's value in what we all bring to the table and what our AI platform brings to the table.
But it also seems appropriate that you'd want to share where AI has failed a potential research, on behalf of a client. Like, by the way, it's not always spot on. That's why you have me to interpret the data and help field and soundboard and, give some examples, real world. Hey, they said don't do this, but in the real world, this is actually how it went down. Be careful. All news is not quality news that's fact-based.
There you go. All right. Let me try to have this conversation with you about something else in our industry and then show you a couple quick articles. So our industry is changing very rapidly. And what I mean when I say that is data. So you realize the real estate industry forever, you put your listings into the MLS, and then the MLS owned the data, and the MLS made the decision of where that data went. So it would send it to Zillow, it would send it to homes.com, it would send it to all these things. Our industry, right or wrong, lost control of our data years ago. When by setting it up with the MLS, we didn't have control of our data. We didn't have decision-making ability on where the data went. So the consumer got rich in data, and data's everywhere. Well, what's happening, I believe, is the industry is trying to gain some control back over the data. And what you're seeing in these articles is Zillow suing Compass and Chicago's MLS over private listing battle. So what has happened? There's 3 MLSs. MRED, which is the Chicago MLS, RealTrax, which is Nashville's MLS, and then now Bright MLS, which is the largest MLS in the country, are all expanding nationwide. So what they're doing is they're signing partnerships with big brokers to get all their listings, which gives them national listing data. Is it good or bad? It's totally up for debate, but there's a movement happening of the brokers are taking back control of their data pre-MLS. So Keller Williams came out and partnered with Berkshire Hathaway and Cotality to do this new listing platform. I got to see it last week. Your team leaders are going to get to see it for the first time today at noon. There's a whole lot of questions with not a lot of answers at the moment. But bottom line is, in the future, we're going to put our listings into a broker listing exchange, not the MLS. And then this broker listing exchange will put the listings into the MLS, which puts us pre-MLS in the timeline, which gives us back some control over data. I realize this is confusing. I realize there's a lot of questions and a lot of answers we don't have yet. And I want you in tune with where the industry is going is they're fragmenting the MLSs, they're fragmenting data, and everybody's positioning to get back control over data. This is coming fast. And I just need you to pay attention and lean in because your team leaders are going to see it for the first time today at noon. Um, I don't even know when. It's saying it will roll out over the next 3 to 6 months. Uh, just be aware the industry is in a period of innovation. The industry is in a period of data change. I have not heard if FMLS is going to do a national play or not. I have not heard uh, how this affects MLS relationships. I haven't heard anything, but I do know this is moving at a very fast pace. And that's my butchered uh, way of trying to explain to you things are changing. Questions I can't answer?
And Brett, also we're switching over to transaction desk too, right?
We are transaction desk, yeah, with
That's
loan
another
wall,
fun
right?
one. Right.
It's another fun. So all I'm saying is we're in a period of change. We're in a period of innovation, and this is not a time to be disconnected from the office. You need to be overly connected from the office right now
Well, just
because
follow the
we
money.
will put information through.
Yeah, follow the money and follow control and power. It's all about syndication and consumer eyeballs and trying to win the war that, frankly, the Zillow and, Realtor.com, they beat us at that war early on, and they're trying to buy back control. And everyone's shuffling pieces on the playing board. It'll be interesting to see how it shows up. Ultimately, most of us as realtors are only licensed in one or maybe two states. And so a national MLS doesn't really do anything for us. It's really controlling the data, which is pretty much what you said.
100%. I think the national MLS is just uh, Compass's strategy to tear down the MLS system.
Exactly. Well, and I read into the KW article about our affiliation and how that's more in alignment with the local brokers and the local, boards in an
Yeah.
effort to keep our industry and the sanctity of who we are as a collective pure. And just
Yep.
first blush opinion or my
It's
observation.
it's coming fast. So we'll probably have more information, I would assume, next week after this team leader call today, our
Yeah.
national call. So stay tuned. Jeffrey, any thoughts?
No, sir. Love playing offense, though. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Get
Well,
your
that's the
popcorn
game,
ready.
right?
Yep.
All right, you guys have a good one.
See you
See you
guys.
guys.
Bye.